When PRS officially released the NF53 models, I was a little bit skeptical, but I fully understood why the company wanted to do it. They've had so much success with the Silver Sky, and clearly those are going after the Strats. Why not double down and make something that goes after my beloved Fender Telecaster, which I consider to be the greatest guitar of all time? And I'm not just talking about my specific one, I just mean any regular old 2 single coil pickup Tele. Today we're going to be testing this thing out. I'll be giving you my thoughts on how it feels after I do a quick rundown of what you can expect when you do get one of these guitars out of the box, and then my final thoughts about where does this guitar stand, who would be a really good fit for this instrument. And a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Zounds. They're letting me borrow this instrument so I can make this video for you guys. All the PRS SE models, 20% off, but that's not all. The S2s and the bolt-ons, those are 15% off, and I've never seen them have those on sale. All those go until the end of the year. You're interested in those or anything else from the website, whether it's a set of strings, a pedal, or an amplifier, check the link in the description, click that. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it helps support this channel directly. Just like a traditional Telecaster, this guitar is really simple. I'm going to do a quick overview on it. 3-way selector switch, no push pulls, 2 narrow field deep dish pickups. You got your Tele style chop bridge here, and the neck is really where it starts to feel like a Telecaster because it's got a big neck. If you like a no-caster neck or like an American Vintage 251 style neck, you're going to feel very comfortable with this, but the difference being compared to those ones that come with a lacquer finish on the back of them, this has a really smooth satin finish on it. Another thing a little bit different from a traditional Fender Telecaster, you do have a tummy cut on this, which I know is a welcome addition to a lot of players. Finally, the tuners on this guitar, they're the updated wingback tuners, and on this specific guitar, they feel fantastic. They're probably the best set of SE tuners that I've ever had. They feel really tight and they hold tune really well. But that's enough yapping about specs. I'll give my opinions on how this guitar feels to play after we do the sound demonstrations. We're going to be using the Dr. ZZ Plus combo that's behind me, but I dialed it in beforehand using my Fender Telecaster because I wanted to see how it would react given a similar setup. It's important to me to be able to roll off the volume knob a little bit and retain a lot of high end. It's something I really love about Telecasters. Let's see how this guitar does. Going into the sound demonstrations, I knew that it wasn't going to sound identical to the two single coil pickups in my Telecaster. These narrow field pickups are humbuckers. There's a lot of pros to having these sorts of pickups because you get rid of the 60 cycle hum, and one of the biggest strengths that I found out of playing this guitar sound-wise, it sounds great with gain and it's quiet with gain. So it takes it on well, it sounds really big and full, but you don't have the 60 cycle hum that's normally found on a traditional single coil set. And while the tones of a guitar are really important, you got to keep in mind, there's no one demo on YouTube that's going to give you a fully accurate representation of how this or any guitar is going to sound through your rig. To me though, the feel is the most important thing, because you're going to have a guitar that sounds fantastic when you record it, but if you hate playing the thing for one reason or another, you're less likely to want to spend time with it. The neck profile on this is what screams Telecaster to me, because it does a really good job of hitting that big, beefy 50 style neck on it. It's not going to be for everybody, and perhaps it's kind of shrewd of PRS to just release this one to begin with, because it kind of leaves them room in the future to offer a rosewood model that has maybe a slimmer neck profile on it. But if you like the beefier neck, you're going to absolutely love this. And speaking of that, one thing that I really love about PRS, and it doesn't matter if it's SE, S2, bolt-on, or core, the fretwork I can always rely on to be excellently done. And in the case of this guitar, no different. Out of the box, this thing was really playable. I just had to alter the action a little bit because you know how it is. And outside of that, the important things, the fretwork and the nut, were done really well. This guitar held tune extremely well, but that's kind of to be expected. After all, it is a T-style. So who would this guitar be a good fit for, and would I recommend it compared to some of the other guitars in a similar price range? Now that question's a little bit different, because these are now under $800. Normally these are $979, and then that kind of changes who the competition is. You're looking at what? The Player 2 Telecaster? The Player 2 Telecaster is fundamentally going to sound different because it's got two single coil pickups on it compared to this one that's going to have humbuckers, but the feel-wise is also going to be substantially different because this has a huge neck on it compared to the modern C that you're going to find on a Player 2 Telecaster. In my book though, I think that somebody who would love this guitar would be somebody who wants to play with a little bit more gain and somebody who's going out to gig. Because what I love about this guitar and what I love about humbuckers in general is the fact that you do have no 60 cycle hum. That's a big plus, especially with some shoddy venues, and it's something you don't want to have to deal with. Believe me, I've dealt with it before in the past. And perhaps if you just like playing more aggressive music in general compared to some of the stuff that you might find some people associated with Telecasters to play, although I think that's nonsense. The Telecaster is one of the best sounding guitars with gain in the world, but I digress. It's a bit beefier sounding, it's a little bit fuller sounding, you are getting more bottom end, and it's definitely its own thing. But if everything I just pointed out sounds appealing to you, I would definitely recommend this guitar because it's a reliable guitar that's built well, and it does have its own kind of sound to it. I think if you're buying one of these and you're wanting to kind of emulate a traditional Telecaster to the T, you're buying it for the wrong reasons, and that's kind of like my whole thing with PRS in general. You buy a McCarty 594 and you expect it to sound like a Les Paul, you're not going to have a great time. If you buy a Silver Sky and you think it's going to sound identical to a Strat, maybe you'll get a little bit closer, but at the end of the day, it still is its own thing. This guitar is definitely its own thing. And one last thing I want to add before I get going here is, I didn't know that they were doing this. These come with the old S2 gig bags, as opposed to the brown ones that used to be reserved for the SE models. And I thought that that was a really nice touch. It's another way of just PRS being like, here's a little extra bonus that you weren't expecting. I thought that was really cool. Thank you for watching today's video. For any more information on this guitar or any of the PRS guitars that are currently on sale, or even the ones that aren't, please click Zalons, go to a link down below and have a look for yourself, see if something catches your eye. Thank you for spending your time with me today. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to leave a comment. But that's it for today. Take it easy, everybody.